A generator function is just like a regular function but with a key difference. The yield keyword replaces return. Here we will see both definitions for regular function and generator expression, and we'll see the difference between them. They both perform same action, returning yielding the same string, but if we inspect those functions we would see the difference between them. First we will define regular function that will just return string A. Then we'll define generator function that will yield string A. Now if we print both functions, and we'll see the results are different. We can see that a regular function returned A as string and a generator function returned generator object. Next function. Calling regular function tells Python to go back where the function is located in our code. It performs code and returns the result. In order to get generator function to yield its values, you need to pass it into the next function or iterate over it. Next function is special function that asks what's the next item into iteration. Next is precise function that's called when you run a for loop. List dictionary strings and all like implement next so you can iterate over them. Now we'll create a generator function that will yield string A, and we'll call next on this generate function that should return just A. Notice that we have to pass in integer function with a parenthesis since the function itself is the generator. Providing only the function name will throw an error. Remember that generators produce a stream of values, so yielding a single value doesn't really qualify as a stream. We are now going to yield multiple values in generator function. We are assigning this function to variable and will call next 4 times. We are only yielding 3 values, so once the generator is exhausted, which means that there are no more values, no next item, it will show an exception. It should print out ABC and throw an stop iteration error. It printed everything we said, ABC, and it threw the exception stop iteration. If we don't assign a generator function to variable, it will always return first item. So assigning to a variable is a crucial step. It allows us to create a single instance of generator we can refer back to. We'll now just print next multiple times without assigning, just calling next on a generator function, and we should get 3 times A. Yeah. Earlier we compared our generator function to a regular function since they have many similar aspects. Now we are going to compare generator expressions and list comprehension. The only difference is that list comprehensions use brackets while generator expressions use parentheses. Product of list comprehensions is a list while product of generator expression is generator object. As a product of list comprehension is the list, we can perform all sorts of operations like slicing, indexing, mutation, and so. We cannot do this with generator expression as they are specialized to produce one output at a time, so they don't support these operations. However, we can implement logic within generator expression so we can form a filter if we need to. Like in this example where we are getting only numbers higher or equal to 3. The best way to iterate over generator items is for loop. It will fetch one element at a time and works like a regular for loop on a list or string or any iterable item. In this example, we are using for loop to iterate over generator that we defined above. Now we are going to use generators to read CSV files line by line. First we will load data into beer data variable. Then we are creating lines variable where we store our generator expression for getting each line at a time. Next we're gonna do is create another generator that will get us columns for each row. Note that we are looping over results of our first generator expression for each row. In the CSV files, first line is always almost column names, so we are going to set variable columns to items from the first row. Now we are going to use dict function to connect column names with each column data. And now we are printing the output. The while loop will always be true, so the generator function will always be yielding beer. This is just for fun. We haven't done anything wrong, this is completely valid code, although it's not one that you actually want to implement. So the key takeaways. Generators produce values one at a time as opposed to giving them all at once. There are two ways to create generators, generator function and generator expressions. Generator functions yield, regular functions return. Generator expressions use parentheses, while list comprehensions use brackets. You can only use a generator once. We can use generators to read files and give us a line at a time.